Crystal at the Rain Dance Ranch. So today is day 5 of the bed prep, and part of bed prepping is having some cover crops. So I did find somewhere in the literature that Austrian winter peas are actually a good cover crop, but I didn't put any of these in the area that I'm talking about today, but I did put a few of those in a couple places. And saving some more for next winter if these don't take it and I can get them out earlier. So the only thing I planted that wasn't sort of like a cover crop was this beets, and I did 3 rows of them, and they come on this tape. It's like toilet paper or like napkin material, and you can just cut it where you want it and then do like 3 rows. And so I've got, this was like 125 feet worth. So if those work, hallelujah, I really like this. This is worth whatever it costs. Just makes things easier. And one of the things is that since I have a lot of pest pressure here, and I'm just thinking that root crops are gonna do good. And radishes can be a good cover crop. Now, typically people use like daikon radish as a cover crop, and that's probably the best and all that, but this is what I had. So I just put a little bit of each one of these kind of radishes in, and I have more for other areas. I have this super old, probably 20 years old parsley leaves. There wasn't really a lot. Oh, there's still some seed in there. I'll have to throw those in the next round. I scattered those about. I planted these mostly around like the edges, and then I finished off this container of chives around the edges, and I still have some shangiku, and I'm pretty sure I put some of that around the edges. I might have sprinkled it in other places. This cress was randomly scattered, and then this, I really only had a very few left of this, and I put them in an area where I did onions. And then I concentrated these and scattered them about. I don't know what these are going to do, but I'm in love with them just by looking at the picture. It's roots and parsley. I mean, come on. I'm a big parsley fan, so. And that this looks like it's a summer crop. So parsley in the summer, yay. If it tastes like parsley, I'm assuming it will. And then I had a bunch of packs I have 3 packs of these gladiolus, and they each had 5 bulbs in them, and I planted 5 of these bulbs. And then later I'll plant these other ones, and they weren't looking real healthy, but I don't know, they could grow. And I scattered cilantro around a lot of the area as well. So let's see, was there something else? Okay, I didn't do those. So those are everything. Oh, and then I did some of these alyssum around the Oya, and then over in the yarrow garden area. I just kind of scattered the last bit of them out through there, so that would come up real spotty if they come up, but I just wanted to do some like that to see how they go. And then I covered the particular area that I did this cover crop grouping in. I covered it with just a light smattering of peat moss. So, and the idea is that if there's any certain healthier plants that do pop up, I may keep 1 or 2 of them, or maybe that's all that will come up, and I'll want to keep them, like the beets. I'd really like the beets to grow beets because I love beets. But you know, a lot of these will be worked into the soil as a living mulch, a living green mulch. And they may not necessarily go to flower or go to seed, or, you know, they may not last much longer because things are heating up around here, and a lot of this stuff likes it a little on the cold side. But some of it's a little early too, so, you know, I'm just testing the waters. And so, you know, my strategy was to use a bunch of different things, like at least 10 in one small area. And maybe only 3 of these things will even grow. I have no idea how it's going to go. But the flies are going crazy over my beds, and I used some partially composted compost out there, and so there's stuff in there that are attracting the flies more so than they would if it was just fully composted. Like after 5 years, I think, is when it's technically fully composted and it becomes actual soil, thereabouts, from what I understand. So I'm real excited to get started on this project of basically cover cropping, and I'm not worried about buying any kind of special seed for cover cropping. I'm just working with what I got, and I got a lot of seeds, so and I don't have a job right now. I do have one coming in May 1st. It's just on hold. But, you know, it kind of makes you think, like, I can't spend a dime on anything, you know, when I got 3 more weeks left of no work. And I'm like, that's fine, because I've invested all this money in seeds. And, you know, it's like, just get them out there. So that's what I'm trying to do. Once I get water, I will start planting again. But that's it. I'm done planting until I get my cistern topped off or filled up, because it's actually empty. And I'm just really excited that, you know, people are talking about cover crops, and you can use whatever you want. Just use in abundance. Plant like you're planting one of David the Good's Grocery Row gardens, and that's what I'm doing technically too. So not only is it a cover crop, but it's also gonna be my grocery store garden. And if a bunch of stuff takes, then great. You know, maybe I'll have onions and shiso and shungiku and some cress and some cilantro and radishes and those beets. All that stuff could grow for me. And there you go. I've got like a little grocery row permaculture garden started. Finally. And then after I start my job and get a few paychecks, I'm actually going to join David the Good's group. So highly recommend David the Good. If you're a new gardener, that's just a really good place to start. Although there could be some things that he talks about that might be more intermediate and advanced, but for the most part, there's no reason. If you're interested in gardening, you'll learn a lot from David the Good. He really covers a lot of stuff and very entertaining. I mean, there's a lot of wonderful content, but I am a big David the Good fan. All right, so this is what got planted. This is my first cover crop mix, and when I get water, I'm gonna cover crop the rest of the garden that didn't get cover cropped yet, or anything before I plant anything else. I'm gonna try to do cover crop, because after the last freeze, which we could have a freeze up to sometime in May. But I feel pretty confident by May we'll be done with the freezes, but, you know, they could happen. But by that time, it'll be a matter of, oh, wow, it's going to get really cold. I better go cover them up that night. You know, that kind of thing. It'll probably be like a 1 or 2 day event. So once May 1st hits, hopefully, and then I'll be able to plant the corn, the Three Sisters plants, and all of the other stuff that needs the warm weather to direct sow. And we'll see what we can get going then. And then I can work the seedlings in, you know, maybe after the corn gets going a little bit and the other plants are going that I want to keep, and then I can destroy some of the plants if there's still any living, you know, after about a month, and work them into the soil. And just keep it going like that. And then do a whole nother understory of planting of something. And that something is probably going to be black-eyed peas. Because I bought a bunch of that, the black-eyed peas, to do cover crops. So once all these cooler weather cover crops are worked in or, you know, utilized to their best purpose, then I'm going to be, you know, just popping in a lot of black-eyed peas. And maybe I'll buy some clover or something. I'll decide what I'm going to get. But right now, in terms of like cover crop that most people think of as cover crop, I got black-eyed peas. And a lot of it. And so many other seeds that I'll just mix in. So probably try to do all these onions too, since onions really seem to like it. And I'm real hopeful about this Hamburg rooted parsley. All right. Thanks for watching. When it rains, go out and dance.